Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Good morning, Oji.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How was your weekend? Looking dapper. Good morning, our favorite Niger wife.
Jinx, you're still in all white. Yesterday you were in all white. I saw you. I saw where you were yesterday.
Yes, I was. I was at the governor's birthday. It was an all white party, beautiful party. I didn't see you there. Good morning, Adefemi.
Morning.
Our favorite. I didn't see you there. Our favorite international correspondent. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you, Oji.
Miss Rufai today. Well, all right, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. With the shocking footage that sparked widespread reactions across social media over the weekend, the video featured Jane Ufot, daughter of Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Umo Eno, alleging that her late mother, Patience Umo Eno, who passed away last year, was a sacrificial lamb. Jane Ufot is the governor's second daughter and currently serves as his senior special advisor on health, safety, and environment. In the video, Jane sought an audience with her father, stating that she would not want to suffer the same fate as her late mother. Well, on Saturday, Pastor Umo Eno, reacting to the video, described it as politically motivated, asserting that his family is intact. Let's take a look.
We are in political times, and so you expect more of that. My family is intact, you can see everyone. And the event we're talking about happened immediately my wife passed last year. So why is it surfacing now? And why is it on the eve of a second-year anniversary that we're celebrating the milestone that we have achieved? This teaches me that there are detractors around, and so my family is intact. That's Jane herself there. That's my daughter, that's the husband. So we have a good family. The pressure on the kids when they lose a loved one and could be traumatic, and we must know that. All I can appeal to the public is, please, they shouldn't bring back sad memories. It's enough that I've lost my wife, and I pray that they allow her peaceful soul to rest in peace, and don't try to. But I can't be distracted. I remain focused. I'll continue to serve Akwa Ibom people, and I don't wish what happened to me will happen to anyone else. So people throwing this around, if that's what they wish for themselves, I wish them luck. Yeah. But we're running. My family is intact. I think even in politics, family should be off limits. Family should really be off limits. And so I don't think it's anything. You see me, I'm here, and we're good.
Okay. Thank you.
This was really good. I am glad that the governor came out to debunk the story. We did see it circulating, and I didn't understand why, the media outlet reported it like, she was accusing Pastor Umo Eno of killing her late mother. In the video that I watched that was circulating, nowhere did she mention that her father was responsible for, her mother's death. She appeared to have been, trying to get the attention of her father. And like her father has said, the pastor is saying that it's politically motivated. And at no time, did she accuse him of, killing her late mother. And like he said, their family is still mourning. Just a year has passed, and we should let them mourn at this point.
I love that he concluded by saying in politics, family should be off limits, especially because we all understand, all of this happened before us. We watched all of this transpire. He was married to his wife for 38 years, has a beautiful family. Now, one thing about grief, especially as Africans, is that it takes on quite a peculiar shape. When you see Africans grieving, it's a little bit different to when other people are grieving. It's common, especially when an African dies. We seldom accept that it was natural causes. The discussion at funerals is always around, who did this and who did. So, all of this has to be contextualized around the pain of these, of the daughters who feel that their mother's life was cut short before her time.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that people are using this to bait for other issues. These are internal family and very sensitive issues that we don't need to, to get excited about these types of things circulating on social media. And I'm glad he came out with his family and showed that the issue is settled. He pointed out, he said, there's Jane over there. Jane was in the entourage there. They've settled their issues.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing with Family Matter. We allow families to resolve their issues.
You mentioned grief. The authoritative text on grief is by Kubler-Ross on death and dying. Kubler-Ross identified 5 stages of grief, that when people lose a loved one, they go through stages of grief. Other theories have identified 7 stages of grief. Now, I mentioned that to go to the statement that I saw by the governor, Umo Eno. He said, look, this incident occurred when the mother died, Patience Oluwakemi Umo Eno, in September 2024, following a short illness. So, children, members of a family, they can reflect, they can react differently on that scale of 7 stages of grief, 5 stages of grief that I've identified. But the governor's main point is that, look, this is politically motivated. The children may have reacted that way when their mother died, while they were grieving. But it shows that in Akwa Ibom State, people are playing politics. They want to sabotage him. This is why they have brought it up on the occasion of his second year in office, to change the narrative. Now, my point is this. Section 37 of the Nigerian Constitution recognizes the right of every individual to private and family life. You can run your family life, you can run your private life the way you want. But in Nigerian politics, anything goes. They will bring anything and throw it at you. And this is what Governor Umo Eno is facing at this moment. But I think it's important that he has clarified this by saying, look, this material is dated and that his family is intact, and he doesn't think that people should disregard his rights under Section 37 of the Nigerian Constitution. But Nigerian politicians are unconscionable. They just want power. And if you go into politics, you will hear stories about how your mother gave birth to you, about where your mother first had an encounter with your father.
Talked about it.
That's
Speaking
the nature
about
of
grief,
Nigerian
and I want
politics.
to, you're absolutely right. Speaking about grief, I lost my mother less than 2 years ago, and I remember saying the same thing with my family, that, my mother sacrificed her life for us to move forward. And, this is it. That's what happens during grief. Please, let the family mourn. We'll take another story now. Over the weekend, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated the first phase of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, a project under the Ministry of Works in collaboration with Hitech Construction Company, founded by Gilbert Chagoury. During the inauguration, Tinubu described Chagoury as his partner in daring, commending him for the successful completion of the 30-kilometer highway. Tinubu also reflected on the journey he undertook with Chagoury to tame the Atlantic while he was Lagos State Governor. Let's take a look.
To the contractors and my partner in daring, it was tough for us. Engineer Roland Chagoury. We come together to tame the Atlantic. My leaders in Lagos thought it was impossible. So many other leaders wanted us to abandon it. And federal government rejected the idea that they will take responsibility. Then I said, we will do it. Thank you, Roland. I appreciate you.
Oh, congratulations to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Ministry of Work, and of course, Hitech, for that successful completion. Often we hear the government, saying that they are going to inaugurate or they commission things, and it never happens, and it did happen right on time. But, there were a lot of reactions that trailed this actual event over the weekend. Well, during the inauguration ceremony, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appeared to have snubbed the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in apparent confirmation of the speculation of a strained relationship between the president and the governor. In a video that has now gone viral, Tinubu was seen exchanging pleasantries with dignitaries who attended the ceremony. However, when Tinubu reached Sanwo-Olu, he ignored the governor and extended a handshake to Usman Ododo, the governor of Kogi State. Let's take a look. All right, we saw that video. I've been by. You know, there's been that story. No, because you're smiling, but you know that there's been that speculation, you know, regarding the whole rancor between Sanwo-Olu and Tinubu, and that, you know, even Akpabio had to speak for the governor of Lagos. There's been that speculation since Mudashiru Obasa was, you know, removed and reinstated, obviously. But before we discuss, let's take this story to tie it all together. Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, during the inauguration ceremony, advised second-term governors to be deliberate in choosing their successors, warning against handing power to unprepared loyalists. He noted that such actions often lead to betrayal. Akpabio also hailed the president as a visionary leader for the successful completion of the 30-kilometer highway, asserting that it is a testament to the fact that things are getting better. Let's take a look.
In you, Mr. President, we have a president who has both sight and vision. And this, for me, is something I must advise our governors, particularly those of them who are on their second terms. Do not give power to anybody who is not looking for power. Don't give power to anybody who is not prepared. Don't go hiding in your heart that this boy is very subservient. He's always kneeling down when he's talking to me. The wife is always rolling on the floor. I think I should make this one the governor. If you do that, you are giving power to somebody who is not prepared for governance, and they will disappoint you. That is where betrayals normally start. I'm just trying to advise. For the progressive governors, I believe that all of you are doing well, because you are being led by a man who has both sight and vision. This is like 90 kilometers already done within 1 year. I have no doubt that very soon I'll drive through Akpabio down to Lagos to, you know, singing song and saying things are getting better for Nigeria. Things are getting better. For Asiwaju is on the throne. Things are getting better. Things are getting better. Things are getting better. Mr. President, things are getting better. Hey, the things are getting better for Nigeria. For Nigeria is on the way. Progressive government, things are getting better. Asiwaju, congratulations. I thank you all.
Asiwaju, congratulations. Things are getting better. Things are getting better.
That's a very
Asiwaju, President. But of course, this video, obviously, there are so many dimensions in what he said, especially the fact that, you know, he's really confirming that it is the governors that give power to other governors, you know, with his statement there. And the fact that he's saying things are getting better, yes, obviously, we see the 30-kilometer road, definitely. But will Nigerians agree with him? Adefemi Akinsonya.
Oh, okay. So let's start with the Senate President's comments.
Yes.
The only issue I really had with what he said was where he implied that an incumbent has the power to choose their successor. That's just not what we should be platforming at all. So I think that that's what I had a problem with. Going back to now Lagos State Governor and this believed snub. You know, initially when I saw the video, I thought that perhaps the president didn't see the Lagos State governor. I thought that's what it was. And then, also when people saying that, he didn't shake his hand, the governor didn't outstretch his hand in order for it to be shaken. I don't think I saw that.
He didn't make enough of an effort.
I don't think he did so. Do you understand? But he did obviously greet the president.
He did.
He did obviously greet the president. And if we are to play into this narrative that there is some sort of feud between the Lagos State governor and the president, and that stems back from the Mudashiru Obasa situation, I do think that it's a bit unfair on the Lagos State governor. I think that when it comes to situations like this, a governor should be, since we're talking about, a governor should be able to, exercise his rights and powers as an actual governor. And I understand that godfatherism is a thing. I understand that when we're looking at Sanwo-Olu's actual political legacy at the helm of Lagos, he wouldn't have been able to do so were it not for the support of the now president. But I do think that in many instances, the Lagos State governor has been treated unfairly.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Abati,
Okay,
your thoughts on both?
Let me start with the Sanwo-Olu story, which people have been discussing all over the weekend. Now, Professor David Aworawo, on This Day Live yesterday, had a concept. He said, look, the governor may have shaken hands with the president at the airport. Right. They may have met at other occasions. We all know that President Tinubu is the godfather of Lagos politics, and Governor Sanwo-Olu is his person. He may just have said, look, I've already greeted you so many times today. Let me attend to people who are coming to Lagos. However, the part of it that some people are uncomfortable with is that when it was time to speak, that road is in Lagos.
In Lagos, so he's the host governor.
They said, the reporters that were there, they said the president decided to call Governor Akpabio to be the one to speak in Sanwo-Olu's territory. But I assume that, it's a family affair. They will resolve it. It's a father and son kind of thing. I think the matter will be resolved. Yeah. As for, one other thing, I saw a story in this morning, a group called NEFGAT. They said, why are we commissioning 30 kilometers out of 750 kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway? They said 30 kilometers doesn't amount to much. Why don't we wait till we have the whole 750 kilometers before the Ministry of Works says that we should be commissioning? That's another side to the story. And that's the one I think should concern Nigerians. Why 30? Why not 100? Why not 500?
All right.
However, on Senator Akpabio saying no governor should impose a sycophant, people will be kneeling down, people who are not prepared for power. No. In fact, our position is that no governor should impose anybody.
It's impossible.
Anybody who wants to be governor should be chosen by the people of Nigeria.
Agreed. People of Nigeria.
This is called democracy. It's about free choice. It's about the power of the people. It's not about an outgoing governor saying this is the person I want to succeed me. That's part of the problem. This anointment, entitlement, Godfather syndrome in Nigerian politics.
Well said, Dr. Abati. I did see a statement from Sanwo-Olu over the weekend praising, President Tinubu, saying that he's making meaningful progress and that he supports his administration. Well, all right, we'll follow up on this story in Lagos State and the president. Shall we head over to Kano State now, where the government has declared today, Monday, June 2nd, as a public holiday to mourn and sympathize with the families of 22 athletes, coaches, and officials who died in a fatal auto crash. The victims were part of Kano's contingent returning from the recently concluded National Sports Festival in Ogun State when their bus was involved in an accident on the Kano-Zaria Expressway. Meanwhile, the governor of Ogun State, Dakpo Abiodun, who hosted the just concluded National Sports Festival, has sent a high-powered delegation to Kano State to condole with the government and the people over the tragic loss of the athletes and officials. Well, as a gesture of support, the governor announced a donation of 1 million naira to each of the 31 victims' families, totaling 31 million naira. The delegation, led by Ogun State Deputy Governor, Engineer Noimot Oyedele, included other top government officials and representatives from Team Ogun. Dakpo Abiodun said the incident had left him completely traumatized, especially given that the athletes were vibrant young people who were looking forward to a warm reception from their fans and families after proudly donning the colors of Kano State at the just concluded Gateway Games. He described the deceased as heroes whose patriotism and commitment to the cause of Kano State and Nigeria as a whole will never be forgotten. May their souls rest in peace. I mean, I know that the governor of Kano State right now is attending the Hajj, and obviously he has, sent in some support for the families as well. But this should never happen, really. I mean, accidents occur. The investigations are ongoing as to what really caused the crash. I heard that there is speeding. We still have to know if the car was really intact or not. May their souls rest in peace. Really, really sad incident from Kano State. Again, well done to also the governor of Ogun State for the support for those families. Still in Kano State, let's highlight a group of young disabled men playing a unique sport called skate soccer. The men have adopted the sport in order to empower themselves to compete and build confidence as well as pursue their dreams. They spoke to the BBC.
A lot of us, our family depend on us. Through this sport, a lot of disabled people are not on the street now begging. My name is Abdulwasir Ibrahim. I'm a Kano Pillars para-soccer goalkeeper.
My name is Idris Mukhtar. I started to play para-soccer in 2013. Para-soccer helped me. I'm seeing many people. The government give me governments to encourage us.
My future ambition is I want to be a doctor in order to help those youths that are coming up.
I need to go outside country to play para-soccer. All African game, Olympics. I want it.
All right. I thought this was good to highlight, to see these disabled young men also pursuing their dreams and career. I mean, a quick word from you, because I really want to touch on this story. It really touched my heart.
I think it's fantastic.
Word, yeah.
It's fantastic that we find ways to be able to work with what we have.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that,
Yeah.
not seeing life as half empty but half full.
Yes.
And this is the true personification of that.
Yes.
And just how positive and optimistic they
Yes.
are. They're able.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really love about
I loved it. And one of them says they want to be a doctor in the future. I mean, life does not end there. Kudos to those young men. Let's now highlight our story on the milestone. Bianca Ojukwu, Nigeria's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and widow of the late Biafran leader, Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu, has fulfilled a decades-old promise by honoring Bruce Mayrock, the 20-year-old American student who died protesting during the Civil War. On May 30th, 1969, Mayrock set himself ablaze in front of the United Nations headquarters in New York, desperate to draw the world's attention to the atrocities of the Nigerian Civil War. Before his passing, Ojukwu had confided in Bianca his desire to immortalize the man. Now, 13 years after Ojukwu's death, Bianca kept that promise. She built the Bruce Mayrock Memorial Building, a 3-story edifice with a memorial hall, exhibition gallery, and conference center. She also launched the Bruce Mayrock Memorial Foundation, which empowers youth through skills training, entrepreneurship, leadership, and peace building. Bianca described the project as a tribute to courage and a lasting reminder of the power one voice can have against injustice. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay. 51 years after the end of the genocidal, fratricidal civil war in Nigeria, 1967 to May 1970. I think it's refreshing, it is enlightening, it is instructive to see that the memory has not faded. And this is what Nigerians must realize, that memory is something that is very important as part of our collective heritage. And what Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu is doing is to remind us of that part of history. Now, so this Bruce Mayrock Memorial Building is to remind us of that history. It's supposed to be a memorial building that records the history, iconic moments, and also pay tribute to this American who sacrificed himself in protest against that fratricidal war, in which over 100,000 troops died, over 2 million people were displaced. On a daily basis, over 10,000 persons were killed, and a lot of persons also suffered from malnutrition. Children, particularly. We talk about Gaza now. In Nigeria, between 1967 and 70, we had a similar situation where many children died for no reason, for a war in which they were completely hors de combat. So this is about memory, this is about history, this is about a museum that will provide education for generations to come. So I think it's a commendable initiative. But what is more important here is about Mrs. Ojukwu's loyalty, commitment, devotion as a widow. One of the last wishes of Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu was that he would like a memorial building to be built in honor of this gentleman, Bruce Mayrock, who engaged in an act of self-immolation in identification with the people of Biafra. Now, some widows are merry widows. Once their husbands die, they just break off. But this is Bianca Odumegwu Ojukwu respecting one of the last wishes of her husband and showing that even in death, she's a very faithful and loyal wife. In Nigeria, even some wives, when their husbands are alive, they are disrespectful and they are disloyal, and they don't even, hold the institution, serious. So this must be a message to all wives, to all persons in the institution of marriage. And I think that Ndigbo will be very proud of Mrs. Bianca Odumegwu Ojukwu. It's not just Bruce Mayrock that she's paying tribute to. She's also paying tribute to her husband. She's paying tribute to the cause of Biafra. She's also paying tribute to our collective history. Because whatever may be the circumstances today, it's not a part of history that we should wish away. It should be a sober reminder that no country can survive 2 civil wars. And that's why the major concern of every Nigerian should be peace and unity. When we remember the Biafran history, all of us should live together. What are you talking about? Is it the war in Kwale? Is it the war in the genocide in Asaba? Is it the the malnutrition and the crisis that Nigerians face collectively? The message is, as General Gowon put it, to go on with one Nigeria is a task that must remain an eternal obligation for every one of us as Nigerian compatriots.
Well said, Dr. Abati, well said. Shall we take our good news report now? Super Eagles winger Ademola Lookman was hosted over the weekend by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at his Lagos residence. The 27-year-old presented his 2024 CAF Footballer of the Year award to the president, an honor he earned after a remarkable season for the club and country.
Ekale, Nigeria, Monkey Boboyi, Eshe, Modupe.
It's an amazing honor to present this award to our president and to have him hold this and to be able to, just to be in his presence is an honor. He said wherever I go, he will support me. So to know that I have the support of the president is a great feeling.
Well, all right, that was beautiful to see Ademola Lookman being honored by the president. That's all I have for you guys, unfortunately, on What's Trending Today. I'll see you all. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending Today. I'll see you all tomorrow.